For what feels like an eternity now, the Honda Fit has reigned supreme as being the most popular car in Zimbabwe. I mean, how else are you supposed to visit your two girlfriends that live on either side of Zimbabwe on a single tank of fuel? Needless to say, the Honda Fit has been the end-all be-all on being able to stretch that elusive dollar the furthest. But now, there's a new popular kid on the block, and its name, the Toyota Aqua.
So we are inside the Toyota Aqua. This is the little bugger that we've been seeing all over the roads next to a Honda Fit or some other thing, some other hybrid. And well, the interior, well, it really reminds you that you're in a budget vehicle. You're in a car that you bought to save money. I mean, it's not really that bad though. I mean, over here you got your electric windows for the front only. I mean, the back windows have like manual roll down thingies, and I don't even understand how we're still doing that. I mean, this is a 2015 model. I mean, you'd think they would have avoided that by now. But you got your electric rear view mirrors. They even fold. You got your rear wipers and another blank space here that's reminding you this is where the push to start button is, but because you got the lower trim model, it's not there, so you're using keys to start it. As for the steering wheel, I love the fact that it's got like a semi little flat base at the bottom, so it tries to like feel a bit sporty when you're driving it. I think it's a very good steering wheel size, and you know, it serves its purpose. You got your indicator stalks, your rear windshield wiper stalk, and the front right over here, and you got your display. The display just pretty much tells you your speed and how much battery you have, whether you're using the engine or you're using the electric motors, the basic information. And they set it up in the middle of the dashboard. I'm really not a fan of setting up your information cluster on the center of the dashboard. I mean, anyone who's come up with this design clearly never had their mother in the car when they're driving, because I really don't want that information to be displayed to people in the back. It's my information. But anyway, as we move on, we got a nice little, you know, asymmetrical setup here with the dash, with your temperature control and the radio. There's a touchscreen radio here. I'm not sure if this is aftermarket or this comes in stock, but it's a welcome radio with a nice little screen here. And then you got your gear shifter, and you've got your handbrake, and down here you got your traction control, your EV mode. So the EV mode basically makes the car an electric vehicle fully without the engine ever jumping in to assist. And then you got the eco mode, which helps with your fuel consumption. There's another blank space here. I'm not sure what was supposed to be there, but that's definitely another reminder to show you that you've got the lower spec one. And then you got two cup holders here, some space here to put your phone, some space here at the top here, the glove compartment, above the glove compartment, and another blank space here. This is where some USB ports are supposed to be. So we have yet another reminder, and then you got another glove compartment here at the bottom. Let me close that quick. Hopefully there's nothing embarrassing in there. We never checked before we did that. The leg room, I have to say, is sufficient. I haven't pushed my seat back without compromising any space at the back so far. But it's a nice little thing. It's a nice little car. I mean, if you're buying a car for luxury, then this is not the car for you. But if you're buying a car for fuel economy, driving in the city, you know, especially in Harare with that bumper to bumper traffic, this is definitely the car for you, because as far as if you're below 40 Ks or so, you're only using the electric motor. You're not using the internal combustion engine. So you're not using any fuel. That is as long as your battery is of a sufficient level. If your battery still is a bit low, the engine kicks in so that it charges the electric motor. This is how a hybrid works. So that's it for me and the interior of the car.
Yo, just a heads up, I'm not doing the boot thing. Like,
So he
I'm
thinks.
not doing the boot thing. Like,
Okay.
instead, I'm gonna do the back seats. I mean, let's mix it up. Let's do the back seats.
All right, cool.
Ooh. Right, the back of the Aqua. With this spec, there's not much going on here. It's very dark in here because this is like the low spec trim, so you don't get a lot of amenities that you would expect. I mean, one of the shocking things here was it's got the it doesn't have electric windows, which is something that you would expect on even other lower spec cars. Instead, you have those roll down windows from like the 90s. Apart from that, you don't get center armrest. There's nothing here. You get your seat belt, which is nice. Then you also get a single cup holder down here. Normally in other specs you get USB ports here where you can plug in your phone to charge, but here there's nothing back here at all. There's no storage for anything at the back of the front seats, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So the good things about this back seat is there is good enough room. As you can see, I'm a very tall gentleman and I can fit fairly comfortable. Not a lot of headroom, however, because the roof line is quite low. It slopes down, but that aids in aerodynamics, which means more or better fuel economy, which is good. Apart from that, seat comfort is adequate, but it's not the best. But yeah, what you gonna do? You get what you pay for. I mean, this is a really low spec car, and it's the price suggests that as well. So you're not gonna find anything really that's gonna be that impressive. But overall, you know what? It's not that insulting, and I think I'll be okay.
Hey, so you're really not doing the boot thing?
No, I told you, I'm not doing, I'm putting my foot down. This is me putting my foot, I'm not doing the boot thing. I told you guys I'm not doing that again. That's humiliating. I'm not doing it again.
No? Okay.
I'm not.
Right, now you join me in the back, the boot of the car. As you can see, it's got adequate space. There's so much space you can fit things. But it's not as big as the competition. If you're thinking of a Honda Fit, it's slightly smaller than that. But it's got adequate space. You can fit bags, got a spare underfloor, spare tire. You've got a light, you've got not much else, really. But everything else is pretty standard. I think he's actually angry.
You know what? We're going to talk about this later, but I'm going to be professional about this. Let's finish this.
All right, so let's talk about the exterior.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think it looks better than the Fit. I think they did a little bit more in terms of styling to make it look a little bit different and unique compared to the Fit, and I think it works well.
Well, you have a point. It does look like a bit of a squashed Fit. It's got a low roof line.
Yeah, which Toyota says is for aerodynamics, so that's how you're able to achieve the ridiculous fuel economy that this car has.
Yeah, speaking of economy though, the design kind of splits opinion. In the back, it feels like these lights are just too big. They look a bit awkward. It's like a bit of a design filler thing going on. They weren't quite sure what to do with this rear area, but I'm not too convinced.
Really?
Yes.
I disagree with that. I think it looks good. I think it aids in the design itself, and I like how the lines flow with the light itself, as you can see here with the bumper as it goes down. So I think that's pretty cool.
It's all right. We can move on to the side. Even the wheel arches are quite small, tiny wheels. You get the feel that it's
Well, we know what it is.
Yes, we know what it is.
It's not going to be pretending that it's anything else. So I'll forgive it for that. And they did a little bit of styling here with like that angle here with the window. Unfortunately, the bad side, which I talked about earlier on, is that because of this sloping roof line, your head is always banging up against here.
Yes, and I guess that's the main talking point when it comes to practicality. This car looks better than a Honda Fit, but then you sacrifice on interior space. But generally speaking, the side profile is nice.
Yeah, it's very simple.
Yeah, it's very simple. But what's nicer, I think, the best looking part of this car is in the front. So in the front, it's a very angry looking car, but
it's very angry. I think the reason why is because of these lights. They look nice though.
Yeah, they are.
Very
nice,
angular.
Angular, clear lights. You've got this interesting front grille.
If I may interject about the front. You know those PlayStation 1 games with the very low polygons and terrible graphics, and the producers of the games were not allowed to use licensed vehicles? Games like Ridge Racer.
Okay.
It kind of reminds me of that.
Jeez, you took that way beyond.
Well, no, I don't think so. I think it's unique in the way that the front fascia looks. It doesn't look like anything else in its segment, right?
That's true.
Yeah, because it's, I don't know, it's cheap, yes, but the front part is the only...
It's not cheap at the front.
Yeah.
But one thing to note, if you see these out in the wild, if you want to know if it's a hybrid or not, a Toyota model that is, you just look at the emblem here. If you can't see the hybrid logo anywhere else, then if it has this blue sort of like strip inside here, that's how you know it's a hybrid. But anyways, besides that, I'm more curious to see how this car drives and performs, so let's do that, shall we?
We have the key, so...
Let's do it. So guys, what do you think about how this car drives? Kudzi, what do you think?
Well, when I drove it, the steering wheel felt very light, light input. Gives you an impression that you're driving a light car, which can be a good or a bad thing. Good in the sense that it's not fatiguing, bad in the sense that it's not very stable at speed.
Okay, so mixed bag with you. I find it to be, I think, responsive enough given its size, and I'm surprised because the engine is a 1.5 liter, and that's linked with an electrical motor, and combined you're getting about 99 horsepower. And although it doesn't feel fast, it doesn't feel too slow either. So I think it's like a nice mixture of that. And in terms of ride comfort, I think it's okay. It's a bit stiff, but it's okay. Brian, what do you think?
I agree with everything that you guys said. I mean, it's a low-powered engine, but then again, you're not really buying this car for its power. You're buying it for its efficiency, and it's definitely engineered for that with its hybrid system. The engine is responsive. The Japanese lady loves to talk whenever we don't want her to. But I love the steering wheel. It's quite responsive, and like I said, I love the flat base of it. It gives it a little bit of character, even though you're just like, no, you want to look like a sports car. But yeah, it's got its characteristics, but it's also got its quirks. But if you're definitely looking for a car to save money on in terms of like your day-to-day driving, this is definitely a car to consider.
Yeah, and I think we need to talk about the unique selling point of this car, and that's the hybrid system. Now, there are many misconceptions out there and fears of having this sort of system because people are thinking, maybe it's hard to maintain over time. But the key thing to note is when this car comes new, the lifespan of the battery pack and the hybrid system is 300,000 kilometers. So that's about 10 years. Yep. So given that this car came out new, pre-facelift model in around at about 2012. This is the facelift, so that's 2015. It means that when you get it here, it still has a few more years left to it, so you can still run it in hybrid system mode and everything. But when it comes to actual fixing or replacing the motor and the system itself, there are a few players out there, in Harare that is, that do this sort of thing. But there are some that are a bit more expensive than others.
So how much is it?
Usually, the cost of all that is supposed to be about 10% or 20% of the value of the car. So if you're buying this car at maybe 10K, for example, it means that if you need to sort out your electric system, that's about $1,000, $2,000 to sort out, which adds on to another 10 or so years.
So I guess the important question is, if you don't want to have to deal with the complication of the hybrid system and this, what else is there for alternatives?
There is the hybrid fit that we talked about earlier on, and oh look, there's another there's another Aqua. It looks exactly like ours.
Yeah, but ours is better looking.
Yeah,
I'm
not because you're in it, right?
I'm competitive like that.
But yeah, key thing to note though, the hybrid system and the fit, once that goes bad, it's a bit finicky to just run the car normally as a normal combustion engine. However, with the Aqua, if the thank you. She has a lot to say.
She has a lot to say.
But anyways, I was saying, with the Aqua, you have the advantage of, if the hybrid system goes bad, you can still run it in normal combustion engine mode, where you're just using the 1.5 liter engine as
like a normal car.
Yeah, like a normal car. Yeah. And yeah, it'll be slower, but you know, if you can't afford to fix it, you can just run it as is. Whereas with the Fit, you start having a few issues with it.
So this is the better choice if you have,
Yeah, it is in a sense. I mean, there are pros and cons to everything, but I understand why this car is now popular, or is as popular as it is now. I understand now.
All right.
So I think with that note, we can just give our final thoughts. I think it's a good package. When it came out, it was supposed to be a car for the younger demographic who would just need something basic but something that's efficient. And even up to now, 10 or so years down the line, I think it still does that. Great fuel economy, you're looking at about 5 liters per 100. And yeah, if you got the hybrid system working, win-win for everyone. What do you guys think?
Well, for me, I think it's a good car. It really is. And it's the best of these hybrids that I've seen so far. The only problem I have with it, I think, is the space thing. It really bothers. But it's a good car, really, overall. It's got Toyota reliability, so you can't go wrong.
And Mr. Driver, what do you have to say?
Well, hey, look, I think they were clever with this car. I mean, when you're looking at it from the outside, I really think this woman has a crush on me. Anyway, when you look at it from the outside, it actually looks a lot more durable than it actually is. They were very clever with how they masked how cheap this car is. For example, with the boot, when we're playing around with the boot, we discovered that the gas struts make the boot feel a little bit heavier than it is. Actually, the boot is pretty much quite light, and it's got hinges that you'd find on your 5-year-old daughter's dollhouse. And even the doors, when you close them, it's like you close the can of beans. But I think...
Well, guys, why are you trashing it?
No, I'm not even trashing it.
So what are you saying?
I'm not trashing it. I am saying these are the costs that they had to cut for the car to give you the fuel efficiency that it gives you. So you can't expect such fuel efficiency.
Did you steal the car?
No, I didn't steal the car. The engine switched off. It does that when you like stop at a robot.
Oh.
That's the benefit of a hybrid. You get what I'm saying? So, like I was saying, they were very clever. They had to cut some costs. You have to accept that when you're buying a car like this, some corners have to be cut in order to give you the best deal.
Makes sense. And
so I love it because of that. If you're in the market for a car that saves you a lot of money, a lot of fuel, so you can spend on your, and travel all across the country to see your multiple girlfriends, this is definitely the car for you.
Definitely. And on that note, where we're promoting polygamy, I think we can round it off here. And First of all, a big shout out to Cruise Auto City. They're the guys that provided this car, and we're very much thankful for that. And guys, thank you so much for supporting us already. I mean, we've been doing really well thanks to you with the stuff we've been doing lately. We do articles, weekly articles on Car Crazy Africa's website. You can check us out there. We'll leave the links in the description, as well as our social media on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And on that note, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.
So, guys, how about a road trip?
Where to?
I don't know. I was thinking Las Vegas.
Vegas? I mean, I'm for Vegas, though. But how are you going to get there, though?
Oh, since it's an Aqua, does it not drive on water?
Dude, really?
This guy,
Really?
just because it says Aqua, you think this thing will go underwater or on the water?
Z-CarCulture out!